So, welcome to the Schlingel Talks. Perhaps you wonder why these both ladies have butterfly wings. Well, that has to do with the film we're talking about. It's called Butterfly Tale. And perhaps you can just present yourself to the audience.
Sure. Hi, my name is Sophie Roy, and I'm the director.
Hi, my name is Marie-Claude Beauchamp, and I'm one of the two producers. The other one is Emily Christian, but she's not here with us today.
Was it the first film you did together, or have you ever experienced working together already?
We've worked together for a long time, for 11 years, but this is my first feature film. Before, it wasn't as a director.
So, Butterfly Tale, what is the film about? Tell us.
So the film is about the great monarch migration. That's the base of the movie. And our three heroes, Patrick, Jennifer, and Marty, make their way from Quebec, Canada, all the way down to Mexico. And as they're going down, well, they have huge adventures all the way through, obstacles, and they have to grow. Because Jennifer is afraid of heights, and a butterfly afraid of heights, well, that's not a very good thing. And Patrick is born with one smaller wing than the other, so he can't fly like everybody else. So he really wants to do the migration, though, because he's a boy that he doesn't think before he does something. And all of a sudden, he finds himself on the migration, but he's going to have to accept himself and the way that he can fly, which is more gliding than flying, and therefore to be part of the monarchs and to feel that he's okay the way that he is.
It's a beautiful animation film you did together. So you as a producer, was it the first animation film that you realized?
No, this is my fifth film that I'm producing. I started in the 1990, the first one, but more recently we did 3 films in a row. This is the 4th. And we are really, really proud to have opened up the market of Canada about animation, because we're known in Canada for animation through NFB, which is governmental, more short film, and we go to the Oscars all the time with the NFB films, but we're very proud to come with really independent production that develops IP, so that's what we're really proud of in the whole process.
And you told us you are one of 2 producers. The other one is a German, so it's a German-Canadian co-production.
Yes.
How was the workflow? How did it work?
So we were the majority partner, as it was us who had developed the project and nourished it for 12 years, because it has taken 12 years to bring it to screen. We met with Emily. We actually won a contest of the best pitch in Canada. So the prize was to come and pitch it to Europe. So we pitched it to Europe. We had met Emily just before. It was, I wanted to work with her. We felt that we had a common values for children. So we thought it would be a good match. And then we looked at the project, and we looked at how financing could work for one another. Therefore, they came on some tasks, and they raised really nice money in Germany, and everybody is happy about the film up to now. So we split the work. We did all of what is before what we call light render comp. So the lighting, the rendering of the film and the comp, and they did all the packaging as well. So they did some post video, and we did most of the things from the top to there.
You just told us something about the story. It's a beautiful story. Is it based on a book, or is it a genuine story for the film?
No, it's an original idea from Heidi Foss, who's one of our script writers, and she came to Marie-Claude to pitch the idea, and it's the first time ever that we've had monarchs as main characters in a movie. There is no animated, of course, so there's no such thing as another movie where you have butterflies as the main characters. So this was very surprising to me. I couldn't believe it. You know, we have
it's so beautiful animals. Yeah, it's strange that it didn't know it was so.
I know. Everybody's just obsessed with cats and dogs, I guess. I don't know. And now they'll be obsessed with butterflies, I would think, because, well, it's also because there's a lot to do when you have wings to think about and you have arms to also animate. So we had to animate.
So it's not so easy to animate,
No,
and
no,
that's
no,
perhaps why they.
the people
antennas.
stayed away.
And
Yeah,
antennas.
Yeah. There's a lot to do. So it's the complexity is 3 times more than any other character.
So it was your first film as a director.
Yeah.
How was the experience? How did it work?
It was marvelous, actually. We did it for 3 years. So because once we started, of course, the pandemic, you know, we started in 2020, January 2020, and then the world shut down. So we had to quickly find out how are we going to work from far and all this kind of stuff. But in a way, it helped me because it gave me a little bit more time to think and to you know, to keep up with all of the departments, because there are many departments in animation. So, but I found it very stimulating, and it was a marvelous, marvelous experience.
But perhaps it was easier for you than for shooting a film with real actors, because in animation people are working on the computer, and so it's everybody is in his place. So during Corona, it was not so hard, perhaps. Even.
No, exactly. No, once we set up the whole network, I mean, it was more of a technical thing, that how are all these people, because it takes so many people to working on the same system at the same time. But once that was done and everybody was settled at home, it was great. It was, because it made no difference, and working with Germany, it made no difference whether you were my next door neighbor or you were in Hamburg, because we still had to each be at home. So for that, it made it just all the same, and everybody was part of that kind of team, and we did Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff like everybody else did, and it worked fine.
Most people can imagine how it is to be a director and working with actors, but in animation, it's a complete different kind of work, because you have not actors, but you have people who are painting and animating. So how was your work, and what do you enjoy about this work?
Well, actually, I would say I have 2 sets of actors. I don't have just one person who has, you know, who has their body like in live action and delivers. I have an actor who does the voice, and then I have actors who animate. So the voices are done first, and then I work with the actors in the studio, and then have to work with the animators, who are actors who make everything work with them in the studio. So it's something that's like multi-layered. So I'm the person who translates all the time what the intentions are, and to make sure that everybody is going in the same direction, you know, that somebody, because sometimes you can hear just in a voice, sometimes you're like, oh, are they sad? Are they happy? So I have to tell them, no, they're really upset, or, you know, I don't want the arms to go flying or anything like this. We got to keep it down, or whatever, that kind of direction all the way through.
And during this process, how is your work together? Is your work done if the finances are clear, or during the creative process? Are you still involved as a producer?
I don't think all producers work the same way. I have to say I'm very involved creatively. If it was just about money, I guess I'd do another job. I have an artistic background, so this is how I came to animation. So myself enjoy the creative process. I tend to let all the lead to the director, but we have a conversation. We constantly converse on the stages, on the, I've seen the pixels, each of them, not as many times as her, but I have seen them quite a few hundred times probably, at all stages. It's also a way to share for the director to validate some of her choices. She could bounce back, and we could change, we could discuss, we could go back. It's also part of often we say animation is often a producer-led project. Why? Because the 12 years I could not pay a director to be on board in development for 12 years. So obviously, the director comes in and some choices have been made, and then we validate them, but I had to take some steps creatively ahead of getting a director on board. We usually have them as a consultant all the way through, but it could happen that the directors are busy, or so it is very engaging. And I'm in the mix room with Sophie and the color correcting and all the stages. I take part, but I let her lead, and then I share my opinions.
12 years, it took 12 years to realize the project. When did you came? You didn't follow the whole 12 years. It's only in the ending then.
Well, once we actually started the production, yeah, I wasn't there 12 years ago. Mind you, I was working as a line producer before, so I had heard about the project and so on, and I had seen some of the evolution of it. But really, me working every day on it was for 3 years.
What were the challenges during the production?
Well, everything is a challenge, really. But I think that the biggest thing that I had to learn was that I was the keeper of the story. Because everybody is a specialist in animation at what they do. You know, so the camera person is a specialist at the camera, the animation and the lighting people. However, what they don't have, or what they can't have, is what is this story about every frame? What is it about? What are we trying to say in every action? So I have to lead that, and that was the biggest thing, because you receive work and then you have to analyze it and say, is it exactly what we want to say here? You know, is this the best way to say something, whether it's physically or, you know, in the voice and so on. So that's the biggest thing, because there are so many teams. There are like 12 teams or something of at least 20, 30 people each team. So you're often repeating yourself and saying what it's about, what we're looking for, you know, that kind of thing. And then layering on top of it.
And then it's very good to have somebody like Marie-Claude with whom you can discuss your decisions and have some feedback about the...
Yeah, because it ends up being like kind of the first audience, right? So you put a scene together, and then you're like, okay, so what do we think? And then you get a reaction right away. So it is the best thing, because you're so into every little pixel that sometimes you don't see the forest for the trees. So yeah.
So when you develop the roles, we have this little boy with the wing, and we have the girls. It's a very emancipated story, I think. So there are strong women. Yeah. And the whole film, the leader who's bringing the whole monarchs in the south to Mexico is also a woman. So what was your idea? What kind you wanted to create? What kind of world?
Well, to me, it was a natural choice. You know, because, well, Jennifer can fly. Jennifer is an excellent flyer. That's why she's chosen to...
But she has the fear...
She's afraid of heights.
So everybody in the film, of course, has a challenge to develop in the film, of course. Yeah.
But I wanted her, and I wanted her to be a strong girl, you know, so that we believe that she is strong enough to pull the trailer and to have Patrick and Marty, and so that she's got to be a bit tough, and that's why she doesn't want anybody to know that she's afraid, you know, because she's got that wall. And she doesn't accept any help. She always said, no, I want to do it by my own, so it's a really tough girl. So that's the whole thing that she has to learn. She has to learn to let people in and to be able to say, hey, I need help. And most people at one point will always need help. So that's, I think, a universal message. And then to have Chief Cora as a woman, that was a conscious choice for me, because at the beginning the writer had written it as a man. And I thought, I don't see why it has to be a man, and especially since I have a strong leader. So I thought, well, why wouldn't it be a woman? That's why.
And then we have the mother
Yeah.
of the main character,
Yeah,
who's
that's it.
also a very interesting.
Character, because actually what happens is that her husband died the migration before, saving the entire flutter. And what the backstory to that is that she's like taken his role as the navigator. So that's why she's in the front now. And because before it was her husband. Yeah.
So, of course, it's a film made by women, and it's a film with strong female characters, and it's a beautiful film. So, perhaps you want to say something to the audience. Why should they watch the film? What do you like most about the film? Why is it important to see it?
Well, what I like about the film is everything. But Butterfly Tale is, first off, an adventure story. And it's something that is based on the truth of this wonderful migration. And our characters each learn something. And together, the unit that they make is what is the most important to me, is having friends, being able to say that you need help, and then with your friends, realizing a goal. And I think that's really fun and a great adventure.
Of course. And do you want to say something? What is for you the special about the Butterfly Tale?
I think that for Butterfly Tale, there's a few entry points. There is obviously, we have to worry about the monarchs, so we could share that within a family. Watching the film amongst ourselves, we could think, okay, what can I do to help the monarchs? And we suggest to, well, in the film, we often talk about the milkweed and the lack of milkweed. So it's an opportunity for parents to say, okay, I can have this discussion with my family, we can plant some milkweed in the backyard, and we've done our share, and we've contributed to the survival of the monarch. So that's a very important entry point for a family to come and see. And I think also to talk about being different and yet being a hero, because yes, it's a very strong female-led project, but it is about a male hero, and we want to make sure that it is also perceived by boys and by men as a story for everyone. We have the late bloomer Marty, who is stuck in his body of his youngster body, and he wants to become a more teenager, and that's also a part of being different. And so diversity for us was very important, and we tried to put that forward. And then the last point I'd say is that there is music, amazing music in the film. And the music is there in support of the emotion and in support of the laughters and in support of the joy that we live through and that we feel through the movie. And that movie, we just tested it with kids this morning, and they were just standing up and dance and sit down right after. And that was like, for me, it's a joy. It was bing, like that little star happening, because we want children to be able to engage in as many ways into the message. And if it is by standing and dancing, it's a very good way to afterwards being out there and care about what the message of the film is.
So you just had the screening this morning,
Yes.
so all these impressions are totally fresh. So tell us, how was the screening? How were the reactions? Okay, they were dancing.
Yeah, and I was
you
so happy because we watched for the first time the German version, right? And so I had never heard it, and I don't understand German. But it doesn't matter because it's universal, and they laughed at the exact same places as the kids back home who watched it in French. So you've done something right when the jokes work, because that's the hardest thing to do in cinema, period, right, is to make somebody laugh. And now we made somebody laugh on the other side of the world. So I think by that I'm like success. And the questions that were asked, because there was a Q&A afterwards, were very precise questions. The kids understood so much and had such insights that I felt mission accomplished.
Sophie Roy, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for this beautiful film and for your time that you talked with us. And also Marie-Claude Beauchamp, thank you for bringing this film over here to Germany. And yeah, I wish you all the best. I hope many, many people will see it. And thank you. So, bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye. Bye.